Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dear Diary podcast. I'm your host, Katie, and guys, we are on episode 8. I know it took a week and some change to get my life together, but I got a couple things on my plate, but we are back up and running. Shout out to us. And y'all already know the topic. I don't know if y'all saw it. If y'all ain't seen it, go click on it, do what you gotta do, but we already know what we ready to talk about. And I'm just so ready to dive in. I'm so ready to dig in. I'm so ready to spread awareness and talk about how these men need to be taking accountability for the things that they have done, what they continue to do, and what they're producing out in this world. And I am so ready to talk about it. I am coming from a place where this is really me being really vulnerable. I will say from everything that I've been through and the things that I've experienced, some of the trauma that that has impacted me the most has came from men. And I definitely just feel like it's a time in this space, in this world, that we need to talk about the things that we've been through. We need to take ownership of it. We need to start speaking on it because, again, like I always preach, if we cannot sit here and talk about the things that we've been through, how can we ever move on? We can continue to put band-aids on these wounds, but baby, when the wound is past the band-aid stage and it's at the stage where it needs critical care, you know what I'm saying? We can't keep placing these band-aids on it. We gotta talk about it. We gotta reveal what's going on with us. You can't expect to be helped or to be healed or to continue to grow if we're not talking about the things that need to be talked about. And I definitely feel like this is also a sensitive topic because, as a black woman in general, I go through a lot when it comes to men. That's one period. Romantically, business, family, friendship, all of that stuff. And all of those things heavily impact me. And coming from a place where, not really having that black man to look up to, I've been through a lot of stuff. You feel me? So I just know with me just talking about the things that I've been through and everything like that, I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm trying to say women are better than men or men are better. I'm not doing that debate. If you're looking for that, then you go click on another podcast because Katie's not here to do none of that. Katie's not here to bash her men, her black men. I'm not here to do none of that. I'm just here to talk about my experience and for them to take accountability. I'm in a space where I am tired of playing like everything's okay when it's not okay. And I'm finding power in my voice now. So it's I'm ready to address it. I'm ready to talk about it. And anybody who has been romantically involved with men or, people who have also experienced trauma with men, this podcast is definitely for you. Okay? I think this is the most excited I've ever been to talk about my trauma. But here we are. So if you're ready, let's take a deep breath in. And then we're going to let it out. And then at the end of the podcast, we're going to take another deep breath in. And then we're going to let it out. Because once we talk about it, we got to let it go. Okay? So, and this is also me talking. Okay? But let me just tell y'all a little something about me when it comes to men. Honestly, I joke about it all the time. But I'll say, it's just this meme that I see all the time. And it's just the meme says, whatever my father did to these nice ladies, can y'all please forgive him because my love life is reflecting on his bad decision making and him doing women wrong, basically. And honestly, I feel that 110 times percent. I feel that 110 times percent, okay? I don't know what it is about the XY chromosome, but with me, it just seems like it does not mix. Sometimes I feel like I'm mixing water and oil, okay? And I don't understand what's the issue. I also got to unpack that trauma that I've been through. But I try. I'm a person that tries. I'm a person that cares. I'm a person that, is not trying. I'm not working in a negative mindset, So it's when you're trying over and over and over and over again with men, it gets to the point where you all right, let me wipe my hands. You feel me? Let me take a breath. Let me, because it's sometimes it becomes too much. And honestly, I really feel like the type of men that I've dealt with or, the type of men that I've chosen to waste my time with, apparently, I feel like it comes with a lot of the trauma that I've been through when it comes to the men that I had in my life. The men that I had in my life and the actions and everything that they have done, and the things that I didn't like, I started to see that in the relationships in my partners. And that's the part where I was just like, we gotta figure out, if we don't want nobody like how our dad used to be, why are we picking people like how our dad used to be? You know what I mean? Like, why are we over here choosing things that are things that we do not want for ourselves in the future? And then I had to realize, like, a lot of that comes from trauma and not really unpacking that and not really healing from that and picking incomfortability. I don't know about any other girlies or anybody that does mess with men or in relationships, but sometimes when you pick incomfortability, you're picking what you think is safe when it's actually very, 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 very not safe. And you're putting yourself in positions where you told yourself you would never be into. Okay? And that's what I feel like a lot of times when it comes to my romantic relationships. Like, I have been cheated on. We could just stop right there. I have been cheated on, not just once, but I've been cheated on, a couple times. You feel me? Like, my first relationship, my first relationship in high school, I got cheated on. And it was so funny because, let me just tell you the tea. First of all, I'm always dealing with the men that want me. I'm not a chaser. You feel me? Like, I'm not a chaser. I'm not looking for men. If anything, from my trauma, I'm terrified of men. So I'm not even looking for nothing. You feel me? Yes, the goal is a relationship, but I'm really just stay to myself. I don't have no male friends like that. You feel me? So just put yourself in that scenario. Katie is not out here mingling with men. Okay? So I'm not out here mingling with men. I'm low-key afraid. I'm low-key like clutching my pearls when I come around men. Like, no thank you. You feel me? So when I allow a man to come in my space, that means a lot. And I don't think people really understand or get that. Like, especially the things I've been through, and we're going to talk about it again. But when I let somebody in, that takes a lot of breaking the wall down. So, and I find myself doing all this extra hard work for none of these people to really give a crap about me. You feel me? So yeah. So I'm dating him, and then the person that he cheated on me with, first of all, she was younger than us, which is crazy. She was younger than us. We in the 9th grade. She in like 7th, 8th grade. That's a red flag right there. Because why are you dating somebody in middle school and you in high school? Like, that's a big difference. Not might be so much with age, but maturity level, there has to be a difference. You feel me? So that was that. And then turn around, say he was going to do better and do better and do right. And let me just tell you how conditioned us women are when it comes to men. Like, why do we think we have to stay? Why do we think we can't find anything else? Like, because when I was talking to my stepfather and I told him the things that I've been through, he was like, well, are you going to leave him? And my automatic answer was no. Like, where did I get that from? Where did I get that from when I automatically say, no, I'm not leaving him? What do you mean you're not leaving him? You're not leaving the things that hurt you? You're not leaving the things that he did to, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you not leaving him? Like, why was that my automatic response? Like, where did I get that from? You feel me? So just think about that. So then I'm like, I'm not leaving him. So I'm like, I'm gonna let him figure it out, work it out, earn my love, earn me back, whatever that looked like, right? Turns to find out that, again, and it's like, you accept him back, you allow him to show you right, and then he turns right back around and do the same exact thing. And it was even worse because this girl was now older than him. And then she was like in 11th something grade. And then I had to realize, like, okay, because at that time I was a virgin and I wasn't having sex. I wasn't ready to have sex. So he was in that stage where he was ready to have sex. So now I'm peeping like, oh, you messing with shorty because, she probably already out there, letting you do what you want to do, So I'm like, okay, cool. And everybody was telling me like, when I found out, it was literally because he didn't even tell me. I found out because he started flexing on me with the girl walking around and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you did all that to do what? You try to win me back. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go through all this, you're just like, like, why? So I'm like, okay, that's kid love. All right. So then, I get into a relationship and I'm like 11th, 12th grade year. This is my ex and this is my first everything. So respectfully, if you get it, you get it. So I finally let my wall down, had that experience with him, losing my virginity with him and all stuff like that. And you would think that, you know, it would be like puppy love. Like, you want to see each other all the time. Like, no. Like, I don't know why I always get the men that want to, it's like a trophy girlfriend. Like, oh, I'm going to show you off. Like, this is my girlfriend, da da da. But when it comes to actually pouring into me, when it actually comes to, you know, hanging out with me, quality time, all that stuff, they don't want to do that. They just want to show, like, oh, this is her. I got a girlfriend, woo woo woo, and then that's it. So he was like that, and I also found out too later by my homegirl, because she was dating his homeboy, that he was messing around with somebody else in the beginning before I had lost my virginity. So I said, okay, cool. So I'm like, all right. The sex issue with men is they want what they want. They're in high school. So again, me giving them excuses but never holding them accountable for the things they have done. So I'm thinking now I'm putting this on me, like, oh, you're the problem, da da da. And I'm just like, no, Katie, I had to grow out of that. Like, you're not the problem. Like, you're dating and getting involved with men that, one, aren't ready for a relationship, obviously. Two, that don't have no respect for you. That's plain and simple. And I don't know why in society we're like, when I was younger, I was taught if a boy, you know, play fights with you or tell you mean things because he like you. Like, that's low key traumatizing. Like, why would I sit here and say when a man does bad things, that means he's trying to express good things? And me having that mindset and me believing that, I'm thinking, you know, when I'm operating in that in my relationships, like, even though that's little kid stuff, when you operate it, when you get older, it's the same thing. Like, him ignoring you, him sending you messages 3 or 4 days later, or him acting all too cool for school, acting like he can't talk to you or whatever. And then they'll, like, your homegirls, or you tell your auntie that or whatever, and they like, oh, he just trying to play nice because he don't want to show his feelings, or he doesn't want to express himself. And it's just like, no, he does not like me. Okay, he does not like me. He does not want to get to know me. He is not feeling me, because clearly if he did, he would be on me. Okay, and I do not want to hear nothing about no man sitting here telling me on a podcast or trying to play in my face about how, oh, I like you, but it's this and it's that, and I got this going on and I got that going on, and I'm not ready for a relationship. Okay, if you're not ready for a relationship, then get out of the dating pool. Period. Stop trying to get to know people. Okay? It's nothing to get to know if you're not ready to get to know somebody. You feel me? Stay in your lane. Stay in your space. And I feel like that's traumatic too. Like, you get a lot of these men starting things with people and then not finishing it. They will sit here and go to somebody and be like, oh, I like you, let's start a family, and start showing you actions of how he wants to start a family. So when you give him that family, then he disappears. And now your kid's growing up with no father. You feel me? You got men out here committing to you, saying they want a relationship with you. Y'all in a relationship. It's 10, 20 years past. He don't want to marry you. What do you mean a marriage is just a title? No, it's not. You want to keep going to an interview and they telling you all these good things about you, and then you went to 6 to 8 interviews and they still don't want to give you the position? That's literally what a relationship looks like. When it comes to you being in a relationship for 10, 20 mad long years and he don't want to give you the title. That's literally the same thing. And I feel like that's low-key traumatic too, because if you think about it, it's a constant reminder of feeling not good enough. Feeling like something is wrong. And it's like, why am I trying to operate in something that clearly is not trying to operate in the same thing that I'm trying to do? You feel me? Like, where did we get the idea to settle as women? Like, period. And even for the people who are not women, who are men dating men, like, learning those mannerisms of dating men, it's still the same thing. And then let men degrade us, let men do anything to us, and we supposed to just be okay because we got a man. And then it's just like, we use that and be like, well, oh, she talking this, that, and the third, but where her man at? Excuse me? Your man, you don't even know where your man at, because your man is over there doing XYZ with God knows who and God knows what. Okay? Just because you got a man don't mean he really mean you got a man. Okay? Because he could be sitting here right next to you and his mind is somewhere else, honey. So it's like, why do we continue to deal with that? Like, that is so heartbreaking. I be seeing women get abused by men, letting them put their hands on them. Excuse me? Excuse me? What do you mean? What do you mean he not going to do it again? What do you mean he wasn't being for real? Like, no, absolutely not. I'm seeing women get not just physically, emotionally abused. Him constantly telling you that you're this and you're that, verbally abusing you, like all these types of things. Like, and men are really good with verbally abuse. They'll gaslight you. They'll sit here and tell you, this is wrong and you didn't, and that's not the right way that you saw it, and this, that, and the third, playing all these mind tricks on you just to not get caught up in their lies. But it's like you already got caught up, so it's like, why don't you just tell me and be truthful? They'll play all these games and they'll say this and they'll do that, and then they'll be a whole completely different person. Like, I don't know if y'all remember on when the lady from Who TF Did I Marry, she had a whole series about her traumatic experience with a man who was literally playing this role of he was this and showing her the things, and then clearly not being who he said he was, and she marrying him. Like, men can play the game for the longest time if they want to. Like, for real. Like, you just never know. Like, and I think that's the part that I get like scared when it comes to men, because like, you just never know with them. Like, all these podcasts about, oh man, if a man likes you, he'll do this. If a man, or if he don't like you, he'll do this. And it's just so many different things. And I'm just, you know what? Respectfully, I don't care if you like me or not no more. Okay? Because I feel like as a man, you should be clear. Like, it shouldn't have to be all of these clues and hints, and we got to listen to all these videos and this, that, and the third to learn if whether you like somebody. And I speak up. Be a man. Okay? You got all of these sassy little boys. Sassy. That want you to chase them and do this for them, and, you know, pay this for them and show them off, and what you bring to the table. What do you bring to the table? And I'm just like, bro, respectfully, I bring me to the table. Okay? You ain't bringing jack to the table. You being you and who you are is enough. You feel me? And don't let no man sit here and tell you that you got to be doing jumping jacks and tricks. Absolutely not. Most of the time, these men don't even have a pot to piss in. Okay? And they just trying to scoop you up to see what you got, to cling on to what you got. Okay? And that's traumatic too. You don't know if these men are using you or not. You do not know if these men are using you or not. Like, you just never know. Like, you can be thinking you getting to know somebody, and the next thing you know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, can I hold $20? Excuse me? Okay, cool. I'll let you hold $20. Next thing you know, y'all talking, get to know each other again and again. Every week now, he asks you for 20. Then he going for 50. Then he going 100. And it's just like, bro, really? Seriously? Like, when you got to get to know me, did you think that I was a bank machine? Like, you just never know with men. Like, you never know. Like, you can think you need to know him. Whole time he has a whole agenda. Whole time he don't even really get to know you for real. He just want to have sex. But he know the only way to get to you, to get to that point, is to play this game. Oh, I want to get to know you. Like, no, you don't. And then some men be like sitting here and saying, oh, I'm not ready for a relationship right now. I just got out of a relationship and it's been so long. And woo, 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 woo. Okay, cute. So why are you talking to me? Why are you making it seem like you like me and you wanna start to get to know me and start doing, dating things if you're not ready to date? Respectfully, if you just want to have sex, just say that. Because if that's what you want to do, then do that. And I feel like a lot of times we let these little things that go on with men and all these ways of our interaction with men, and we let that just slide and be like, men are just not crap anyway. And it's just like, no, like, call them out. This is not okay. Okay? I'm not going to keep sitting here and being in situationships or doing all this crazy stuff for a man that clearly is playing these games with me, And I just hate the fact that we are conditioned to endure that. Like, it's like we have to go through the ins and outs just to be with a man. And that alone to me is just like not something that I'm interested in. You feel me? Like, I don't want to sit here and have struggle love. Especially as a black woman, I feel like that's conditioned for us to have like black love, struggle love. Oh, we went through this and that together, but we made it. And Like, no, I want a love that makes sense. I want a love that serves me a purpose. I serve them a purpose, and we call it a day. I'm not trying to be out here struggle love and bonding through trauma with another person, and we can't let go of each other because we're scared to be alone. Like, I'm not trying to live like that. Like, that's crazy. And I feel like I'm speaking on these things because a lot of the things that we go through with men are that it hurts us. Like, a lot of these people can try to play these games all they want. Like, oh, I can move on. I'll just find the next one. But you're still hurt, babe. You still hurt. You still trying to figure out why he played with you like that. You still trying to figure out why he just ghosts you like that out of nowhere. You still trying to figure out what y'all had was real and not. Like, that stuff can be traumatic, especially when your dating life has all been consistent of is chaos and nothing is clear, or everything is stagnant and it's just like a revolving door, and then you're adding sex to all of that type of stuff. Now you having all these, unhealthy attachments. Like, that's traumatic. And I want to address that because that is so real. Like, I know, for me, it affected me to a point where I was just so uninterested, and I started speaking things as far as like marriage is not going to happen for me, or you know all the things that are my goals for myself. I started to speak negative about it, and I'm a believer of the power of the tongue. So if I'm starting to speak negative about it, that's when I'm gonna start believing about it, and that's not okay because now I'm stunting the things that I want for myself, because the way they made me feel, I'm starting to feel that for myself. Like, I'm starting to believe those things. The way they treated me, I'm starting to do that to myself. You feel me? So I'm pouring all this negative energy, and I'm pouring all these things that, God, that God didn't call me to be, and now I'm believing all these things. Especially if I've been verbally abused before. I've been told, oh, you're not going to find nobody else, or this and the third. And I've been talked to less than before. And when you start to believe those things, you start to believe those things. And it's not just a thing of where, oh, something that I'm just thinking of. No, you start to act on it. Your behaviors become that. And and that's the scary part. Like, it's a lot of women that I see who are being verbally abused and being physically abused and all types of things, and they're acting out. Like, they don't have nowhere to unleash their pain and all that, and they're acting out in their social life, fighting all the time, arguing all the time on social media. All this anger, all of this resentment, all of this stuff is built up. A lot of these women are living in fear. You feel me? Like, it's already traumatic enough. Let's talk about it. Speaking of fear, as women, it's already traumatic enough that we have to have a sit down and talk to our little girls. Like, if you go out and you partying with X, Y, and Z, make sure you always go to the bathroom with each other. Make sure you never leave each other's side. If you leave your drink on the table, don't even pick it up. Like, that alone itself, having to have that sit down and that conversation when your child grows up to become a teenager and starts to venture out in this world, that's already traumatic enough. Like, why do I have to even sit here and tell my daughter that? Why do I have to sit here and have that conversation with my homegirls? Like, you can't, because nowadays, when it comes, and I feel like friendship, that's why friendship is so important with women, because I cannot be around a woman that I cannot be vulnerable with, or I can't put my guard down, because if anything happens, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need somebody to be watching out for me, because you just never know. I can't have no friends that are iffy. I can't have no friends that don't believe in we all going to the bathroom together type friends. Can't have no friends if they don't believe in if we go together, then we leave together. I can't have no friends like that. Because if they don't believe in that type of stuff, then respectfully, we can't keep each other safe, because it's crazy in this world. Like, seriously. And a lot of it comes from because we're afraid of men. Like, I can't even sit here and say that I want to take a walk at night by myself, because anything could happen to me. Sex trafficking is so very real. That's not being talked about. That's not being addressed. And all this other stuff like that. Like, women are getting raped out here, tormented out here, kidnapped out here for whatever man has his crazy, sick desires from. Like, you cannot sit here and tell me that these men aren't traumatizing every single day. Like, it is already enough being a girl as it is. I can't even go to school and wear the stuff that I want to wear without having that conversation or having a dress code for something because these men can't control their sick desires. Like, it just should be no way. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the part that trips me out, because we will sit here and tell the girl to do this and do that and be this and be this and don't do too much because you don't want to crush the wrong attention. Well, we're not telling these men to stop raping our women, stop raping our little girls, stop putting yourselves in situations where you cannot hold the responsibility, stop, hurting women, stop putting your hand, like, why are we not giving them workshops? Why are we not telling them about themselves and holding them accountable? Why do we got to sit here and go through all this crazy stuff just for us to be safe, especially when it comes to reporting rape and reporting physical abuse, sexual abuse, any type of sorts? And the sad thing about all of that is that the police station will never sit here and do what they need to do. Like, it always has to be a thing. Like, it always has to be you what were you doing? What were you wearing? What did he look like? This and that and third. And it's just like, bro, I just went through the most traumatic experience of my life, and I'm over here really down and like just so traumatized, and you want to sit here and ask me what I was wearing? Like, do you know how disrespectful that is? So it's like, you would think trying to protect ourselves will be something that, thinking that we have these things in place will be a better help, a better suit, when it's not. And then you can't even sit here and say most of the time, go to your family or have that, because most of these women don't have no reliable man to depend on. Real talk. And I know for me, and getting into my, traumatic experience that I've had with men, again, when it comes to me, I didn't grow up in a situation where, like, I had some reliable men, but majority of the men in my family, like, they are perverted too. They got a lot of stuff going on with them. So I can't even sit here and feel safe at home. I can't even sit here and feel safe at a school. I can't even feel safe at a police station. I can't feel safe nowhere. Like, it's like, who do I go to? What do I run to? You feel me? Like, how do I address the things that I've been through? Like, where do I feel safe? Because I don't feel safe with men. Like, real talk, like, just getting into it. Like, for me, ever since I was a kid, like, after my mother passed, I feel like that's where a lot of my protection went out the window. You feel me? And I feel like, I had to live with my stepfather at the time. And live with my stepfather, I thought, he cared about me, this, that, and the third. Like, we had our ups and downs. But, for the majority of the time, I think he cared about me. Whole time, as I became of age, he got married to another person and started trying to shift me out of his life around the age where I was like 17, 18. And then I found out also too, the money that he was getting from my mother's checks and stuff like that from when she was deceased. I ain't see none of that stuff. I ain't see none of it. And he was living in my mother's house, okay? Like, he moved in with us, and then they created the family. You feel me? So, it was my mother's house, my mother's checks, that was my money. Never seen it a day in my life. He was supposed to save it for when I go to college. Never saved it. Only saved maybe a month's worth. You feel me? Then kind of ditched me. And then it was just like one of them like life shocker of things, because it was like, if you knew me in real life, then you would have never thought, out of all people, him to be the one to play me like that. Like, being financially abused. Then he lost my mother. He told me that he told me that we were going to be moving to the county with him and his new wife, and we were supposed to be doing, different, and I was going to get things that I always wanted. You feel me? Lied to me and told me that he sold my mother's house. Whole time my mother's house went into foreclosure. So, my financial assets and my financial things that was supposed to be given to me, that my mother worked so hard for, out the window. Didn't care about none of that. Didn't care about little old Katie at all. You feel me? He only stayed around for a check. And from me having that mindset to, he cared about me, and always to really realizing the reality of the situation. If you want to talk about traumatic. Like, you feel me? And then the sad thing about all of it is that I really cared about him. And it was just like one of them things where it's just like, bro, if you could have removed yourself from the situation, you didn't have to put yourself in a situation to take care of me. Like, I could have been doing that on my own. You feel me? Not even on my own, but my family could have, took over that. But you decided that you wanted to, give me that lifestyle of me staying in my mother's house and, me not taking me from my mother's home. You decided that. You decided to take the responsibility. But when it's time, to take the responsibility and take accountability for the actions that you have done, you don't want to do it. And then from going through that reality and just seeing how messed up as a person he truly was, it hurt me. And then also having those grown up conversations with my family when I got older, and them all telling me that, oh, something was always off with him. In my head, I'm like, okay, so why ain't nobody say nothing? Why ain't nobody protect me? Why ain't nobody do what they needed to do to make sure that I was okay? You feel me? Like, nobody knew about the things that I went through in that house, going out with, without lights here and there, or not having hot water in the wintertime, or, having the cable off here and there, also having his car repoed and having to, do all these missed things just to get to where we got to get to. Like, nobody knows the stuff that I went through. So me not seeing that money, or him not even telling me about it until I found out about it from another family member of mine after years had already passed, and then for him to sit here and try to make it seem like, he's getting married because he wants to make sure that, I have some type of mother figure in my life, and this and the whole time his plan was to get dad on me. When I tell you my trust for men went completely low, like I had nothing to give. Like, I can't even, because you could see him, like, it was just like he sat in my face for years and smiled in my face with no true intention on really true and caring for me. Like, how sick can you be? How evil can you be? You feel me? And it was just like one of them things. It was just like, bro, like this, like just seeing how a man could switch up like that on a child like that, like, was so heartbreaking. Like, that was like my biggest trauma that I ever been through. And then when I'm growing up and really realizing the things that I've been through as far as like financial abuse, I still to this day, I'm still working on forgiveness with that. You feel me? I don't have because I was so close with his family and he was close to mine. So it's like, it's this weird space that we in now, because it's like, you feel me, I still love his family, but it was like I didn't want to put them in a position where they had to choose between a father or me. You feel me? So it's like, respectfully, y'all can have that, because I knew this man since I was like 3 years old. So it was like, just the switch up was crazy. And then it was like, also me growing up, like, I have been, sexually abused by a family member of mine, and it wasn't like just a one-time thing. Like, it happened from the age where I was like 4 to like 12. Like, it was a continuous thing. Like, and for me going through that, and me being so young, and that awakening things in me that wasn't supposed to be awakened, and just me going through all those things and not really having nobody to go to, because, you feel me, my mom's not here and I don't know what I'm going through, and me experiencing this trauma is like, bro, like, I don't know how to say stop. I don't know how to address it. I don't know who to go to. And it was just one of them things that apparently was known in the family of mine on my mother's side, but nobody ever addressed it. Like, nobody ever had that sit down and told us, like, hey, this is what we've been through. We have people in our family. Like, no. Like, it's literally what happens in grandma's house stays in grandma's house. You feel me? Like, whatever you do, especially in a black family, it's not addressed, and don't address it, because if you address it, it's going to be a problem. And I'll never forget, I had a dream that I finally opened my mouth and I told one of my family members of what the things that person did to me. And I'll never forget, in my dream, I remember my whole family shunning me and telling me, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. And I woke up, and that right there, to me, I thought that was a sign to never say nothing. And I carried that until I actually I started living with my godmother after that situation that happened with my stepfather at the time, when he started, pushing me out of his life and everything. My godmother took me in because I didn't really have no other place to go, and she took me in, and she basically was just telling me, like, create that safe space for me. And she was just telling me her experiences. She'd been in with a child, and when she finally told me her experience, I started telling her what I've been through, and she was just so shocked, because she was like, wow, like, your mother told me about these things that she'd been through as a child too. And, she told me about how your mother's side of the family can be. And when she told me that, I started to pick up the pieces for myself. Like the closest family members I had on my side, I told them about what happened to me. Especially only women. I ain't never tell like, my uncle, or I ain't never told my uncle, my dad. And if they ever listen to this podcast, I already know we're gonna have to sit down and talk about it. But I'm ready to do that because I feel like it's my purpose to share my experiences to help anybody else. But I never told them, and the reason why just because I just know how they are, and I didn't want to put no. And then the sad thing is, especially as a person who's a victim, is like you were hurt by them and everything like that, and they did you in the worst way, but you still try to find ways to protect your perpetrator. You still try to find ways to protect them, and it's not right. But I think it also comes with the simple fact that you're trying to protect your identity in the situation too. Like, do I really want to expose myself that much? Like, I already told y'all what happened. You feel me? So it's like, do I really want to go deep and throttle and tell y'all who it is? Because then sometimes you tell people who it is, and all they do is they just nosy. Like, sometimes they just want to know who to know. You feel me? Not to help, not to give you any empathy, not to give you any comfort, but they just want to know just to know, to be nosy. And I'm just like, I'm not really here for that. You feel me? So, I didn't really find the need to tell who my perpetrator was because it all stopped once they had to move. You feel me? So I was grateful, but it was also one of the things like me learning as a teenager, and me still to this day learning my triggers, especially being a black woman who, has been sexually active. Like, I'm still learning how to interact with men, like, and I'm trying to operate in relationships or friendships with men, and I don't trust it. Like, I'm trying to, but I'm not. Like, I don't think really people understand like my comfortability level when it comes to men. Like, I'm not comfortable. Like, I'm trying to be comfortable, but I'm not comfortable. Like, even when it comes to like class, like, I could deal with it. I'm not like super tensed up or anything, but like in my brain, I'm already in defense mode when I hear that it's a man coming into the room. Like, and I can't tell you why. You feel me? Like, I can't tell you what it is, but it's like my body has a negative reaction sometimes when it comes to men in general. Like, I can be, chilling with my homegirls, and if they're like, oh, like, my friend want to come over, da-da-da, and I'm like, oh, who? And they say it's a guy, like, I automatically be like, okay, or just being social interactive with men. Like, sometimes it's a little harder for me to open up and express myself. Like, I can come off as super shy, and it's like, I'm not trying to come off as super shy, but really respectfully, I don't trust y'all. You feel me? I come in defense mode every single time. Like, you feel me? Because I ain't gonna let nobody play me. Like, it's been a couple men, a couple boys, I would say, when you in school and everything like that, like, they'll try to play you, try to say little slick stuff out their mouth, try to see if you the type of girl to let that stuff rock out, or if you going to defend yourself. And I had to find myself, sometimes I had to defend myself, like, you're not ready to talk to me crazy, or you're not ready to say nothing about me, So it's like, when you go through little stuff like that, it's like you automatically, and then also being traumatized too when it comes to men, it's like I'm not comfortable. Like, I was always taught too as a child, like, stay away from boys. All boys just want is your cootie cat, and da 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 da. So it's like when you're taught that, it's just like, how I'm supposed to be comfortable with them, how I'm supposed to operate and have conversations with them. And I was never interested in having male friends either. Like, the only reason why I have male friends now is because my friends have boyfriends. And respectfully, they have been kind enough to talk to me and interact with me. They didn't have to. But, like, they're, like, now my friends. And I appreciate that because I really don't have my own male friends. Like, I only have maybe, like, a few. But it's always because I've met them through somebody else that actually trusts them. Like, it has to be, I can't just meet a person on my own and be like, oh, yeah, that's my friend. Like, no. Like, it always had to be, like, you know them and I trust you, so I'm going to let this rock out and see what happens. But when it comes to male friends, little to none. Like, and I never cared for them. I never cared for them because it was like, I don't trust y'all. Like, I do not trust the XY chromosome. Y'all have done so much. I've seen how y'all treated my family members as that. Like, I've seen physical abuse. I'll never forget, like, one of my sisters that I grew up with, like, I've seen her be verbally abused, physically abused. Like, I've seen all of that stuff. I've seen the women in my family go through that. My mother went through that type of stuff. And it's just like, when you see all these negative things when it comes to men, it's just like, I don't want to be around that and around y'all. For real. Like, seriously. And then it's just like, especially being, the type of woman I am now, is like I'm so trying to protect my peace and protect my space, but I'm also still learning too, like, not every man is like that. So it's like you have to learn how to heal, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, just me being, seeing my girls, my friends go through this stuff with these men, I'm just like, bro, like, I just be ready to slap them. Like, I be so ready to put my hands on these men, like, because the audacity they be having, like, who do y'all be talking to? Who do y'all be like, who taught y'all these ways? Like, and it's like, you really gotta be careful, because you, like, when you mess with a man and he a mom and he don't have no relationship like that with his mom, when he treat his mom dirty, like, you really gotta be like, you know what, let me leave you alone. Because if you could treat your mother that way, you could treat anybody like that. Like, I'm telling you, even when it comes to just society in general, like, I be seeing how these men be dogging women out and talking about it, or all these music videos and all these songs, or how they do beating this girl down, and I don't give a crap because she this and she that. Like, bro, it's nothing positive about when it comes to us. Like, sometimes it feels like with men, like, all the things they have to say about women is negative, 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 negative. And it's just so annoying, because it's like, if we really want to talk about it, let's talk about y'all. And again, it's like, I'm not doing this debate, but I'm just trying to bring awareness and accountability, because it's like, y'all got us out here on these podcasts is trying to prove ourselves, or trying to, like, I'm not here for all that. Like, I don't have to prove myself to no man but God. You feel me? So it's like, I don't know where they get this entitlement from, but it's crazy. And then I also feel like too, is like, just as black women in general, like, we already have the trauma, the historic trauma enough when it comes to men, from slavery times to old times to these times. Like, these things carries with us, like, and I commend us for continuing to push through, but the way that we operate in that, sometimes I get scared for, because I'm like, bro, like, I want us to feel safe. Like, I want us to be able to put our shoulders down and not have to feel so tensed up around these men sometimes. Like, and it's like, they always complain about us not moving in our femininity, but it's really, the real reason is because it's y'all. Like, y'all don't give us the space to do so. Like, how am I supposed to move my femininity when all you have something to say is defensive? Like, all you coming at me and you always got something to say about women. Like, how am I supposed to operate in that? Like, real talk. Like, and it's just like, I just be so annoyed, because you, like, all the negative things that I've talked about with when it comes to men, like, it's like, it's still at the same day. Like, unfortunately, I'm a heterosexual, so it's like, unfortunately, I want to be with a man. I still find men attractive, so it's like, okay, Katie, how do you go through all this trauma and then still operating today? You feel me? When it comes to men, and I'm just like, I don't even know. And all of it just to say is just like, even with everything that I've been through, everything that I've experienced with men, because I feel like those are the main two things that I've been through with. But even in, like, relationships currently, like, I've been through emotional abuse. I've been through a lot when it comes to men, like the constant feeling like something's wrong with me, or constantly putting me down to make themselves feel superior. Like, please, I've been through all of that. The mind games, the lies, the constant, it's not you, it's me, all that type of stuff. And honestly, despite it all, I am learning how to not operate in pain. I am learning to operate in love, because despite the trials and tribulations that I have been through, I am a person full of love. And I know at the end of the day, God intended us for us to love each other. So despite them XY chromosomes getting on my last nerve, I'm still trying to learn how to love them. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to have a platform to speak about the things that we've been through, to pour and shed light about the things that, us, all women, or anybody who has dealt with men experience. And I'm just so grateful to have this platform, this opportunity. And I'm just grateful that you guys were able to unpack with me and just be with me every step of the way. And I just appreciate you guys so much for, sticking in and tuning in like y'all always do every Wednesday or every other Wednesday, however Katie is feeling. And I cannot wait till you guys tune in for episode 9.